Hey everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today I thought it would be fun to kind of come up with some ideas as to what we want from Dragon Quest XII in terms of gameplay, in terms of characters, storytelling, all that kind of stuff. Because there's not a lot we know about the game as it stands at this moment. We kind of got a look of the world and how it most likely is going to be a part of the Dragon Quest IX and X, now I guess trilogy it would be. And we got a little sneak peek at some of the characters, which is fantastic. But I wanted to go over what I kind of expect we're going to get for gameplay elements, as well as kind of what I'm hoping we get for gameplay elements in Dragon Quest XII. If you want to get caught up on everything we know about Dragon Quest XII, be sure to check out my prior videos on Dragon Quest XII. There's a ton of new information out there that fans like myself and all of you have found. So check that out if you're looking to get more from Dragon Quest XII. And if you're into Dragon Quest content like top 10 videos, reviews, guides, and news, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn notifications to all so you don't miss the next video. You can also hype the video on mobile to help others find it. And of course, if you want to help the channel out financially, be sure to join the channel and become a Dragon Warrior today. Now let's get into it. So the main thing in pretty much every JRPG is, of course, the combat. People have been saying for years that Dragon Quest XII is going to be changing the way Dragon Quest does combat. At first, they were talking about it being action-based. I don't think it's going to be action-based. They tried that with Dragon Quest IX when they were showing early gameplay, and the fans, both in Japan and the West, were kind of losing their shit. So Square Enix backtracked and made it so it's still turn-based. Because of that, I don't think this is going to be action. I think it is going to be turn-based, but I do think it's going to be more like what you have in like the Yakuza series, and I think Persona does it as well, where you use the face buttons to select if you're going to be doing a regular attack, skills, magic, items, etc. You're not going to have to menu as much. It's going to streamline it. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined was very, very streamlined, what they did with the menu system, and I think Dragon Quest XII is going to continue to kind of streamline the gameplay experience, including that experience in combat. Speaking of Yakuza Infinite Wealth, I really hope, as far as like gameplay, I really hope they borrow heavily from the combat system in that game, because I really want positioning to matter again. In Dragon Quest X, positioning matters a ton for all your attacks. There's of course area of effect attacks around yourself, area of effect attacks around your enemies, and I just think that that's an important element to combat that I would like them to implement here in Dragon Quest XII. Because in Dragon Quest XI, you do have like a semi-free camera. If you want to use it, it kind of follows the character around, but the character positioning literally does not matter at all, unfortunately. So I would like to see that come back, even if it's more similar to what Yakuza Infinite Wealth was than how it is in Dragon Quest X. Another thing I would like to borrow from Infinite Wealth is that you can knock enemies into party members or other enemies to deal extra damage. If you knock them into your party members, your party member will kind of do an assist and deal extra damage to the enemy as they're coming by. And of course, you can use them to knock into other enemies and stuff. With the status effects that we have in Dragon Quest, like being shocked, getting knocked down and stuff like that, I can totally see this working perfectly with the Dragon Quest games, and especially in Dragon Quest XII, where they're going for a little bit more realism here, it appears. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for from the combat system. I also hope that, similar to Infinite Wealth, all your attacks, regardless of what weapon you have and what class you have, are going to restore some MP. That is something that's always driven me crazy in JRPGs. Everybody who knows me knows I hate using mages, because you either use all your magic on the way to the boss, or your mage is completely useless until you get to the boss. I hate having to like stipend my MP. I want to be able to use my mage and use the abilities of my mage. And I know mages, if you equip staves or wands, will get MP back when they attack, which is great. And that's why it's not as bad in the Dragon Quest series. But I would also like that to work for all the other weapons, because sometimes you're using these big skills. I know in Dragon Quest, you're not generally just mashing the attack button in the Dragon Quest games. You're almost always using a skill or an ability or a spell to hit the enemy weakness to get rid of your enemies a little bit quicker. So I think instead of kind of like punishing you for doing that, it would be nice if, okay, now we have a reason to use our regular attack every now and then, so we're getting some of that MP back so we can continue to use our skills and abilities. I think that's something that would be absolutely amazing to add to the series, and players would only benefit from it. It would only enhance the experience, I think. Now, kind of the big one to me is is, what are they going to do about like a class system or character specific classes? Let me know down in the comments what you guys prefer. Do you prefer a job class system where everybody can play as any job class and kind of learn abilities that way? Heck, even like Dragon Warrior 7, the original Dragon Quest 7 on the PS1, I loved how every job class you played as, you kept all the abilities that you had learned. So even if you went to another job class, you would still keep all the abilities that you had learned from that prior job class and all prior job classes. That would be nice to have here, but I do understand how easily that can break the game. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you prefer as far as the job class system or character specific jobs? Honestly, as much as I do love a job class system, I think I prefer character specific classes. It just adds so much to those characters. It makes them stand out more to me, and it gives a bit more depth to those characters. It gives a bit more meaning as well. Because with job classes, anybody can kind of do anything, right? It's not to the degree of something like Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VIII, where literally everyone can do anything, which I feel is also kind of a detriment to the characters. But with the job class system, you can't be like, oh, Eric, he's a thief. Alina, she's a great martial artist. You know what I mean? You just have all the characters are everything. And that's fine for some people, but for me, I prefer the characters be a specific job class. That's what I would like to see in Dragon Quest XII, but with it tying close to Dragon Quest IX and 10, maybe they're gonna opt for a job class system. I could see them making all three of them a job class system. Not that that really means too much, because the Erdrick trilogy only had one entry with a job class system. The Zenithian trilogy only had one entry with a job class system as well. So who knows? They could change it up. They could make it so each character is their own job class, or each character has like 2 or so job classes. I kind of like that the best. Dragon Quest XI did a fantastic job of that. I mean, even look at Tornico Taloon from Dragon Quest IV. The dude is essentially like a merchant crossed with a thief crossed with a gadabout. So I like that each character has their own perks and detriments so that you have specific characters that you're going to use in certain situations. I also hope we have at least 8 characters. I don't need a massive cast of characters. I wouldn't want like 10. I think 10 is like too much maybe, but I think 8 is the sweet spot. That way you have 2 full parties of 4 that you can swap characters in and out of battle. That is the perfect amount. And one of the reasons why a lot of people rip on me because Dragon Quest VIII is not like one of my favorite Dragon Quest games. I still love it, don't get me wrong, but the fact that you're kind of locked to those 4 characters, I know the 3DS version added 2 more. I haven't played through that one all the way yet, so when I get to that part of it, I will enjoy more. But the fact that you're kind of locked to those 4 characters, and those 4 characters are the only ones that really get any character development, it is a big detriment to that game, in my opinion. I am very character-centric when it comes to the Dragon Quest series because there's been so many amazing characters in this franchise that I think the more the merrier. Obviously, like I said, 10 is probably too much, but I think 8 is the perfect number. 4 in battle, 4 in the back party. You can swap them in and out as you please, both in battle and outside battle, and I think that's the perfect amount of characters. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on this. I also want to hear your thoughts on this, so be sure to let me know down in the comments. What are you hoping to see from Dragon Quest XII? What kind of gameplay elements? What kind of character archetypes? What kind of a villain are you hoping for? I'm excited to see what kind of villains we're dealing with. Sometimes the villains in Dragon Quest are better than the cast of characters, or right on par with them in the case of something like Dragon Quest IV. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, subscribe, turn notifications to all so you don't miss the next one. You can also hype the video on mobile to help out the channel, and if you want to help out the channel financially, be sure to join the channel and become a Dragon Warrior today. Thanks again, and I will see you guys in the next one.